Chester Bernard. Chester Bernard. Chester Bernard is the organization theorist. He is the principal protagonist in the organization and behavioral approach. He is considered to the father of social system of school. He is credited for the introducing behavioral aspect of administration theory, and full-fledged explanation of behavioral approach has been credited to Herbert Simon and Robert Dahl. So Bernard was born in the Massachusetts, USA, and he worked in Bell Company from 1909 to 1948 in various capacities. And after the retirement, he was the president of Rockefeller Foundation. He earned several honorary doctorate in the bachelor degree. His work were byproduct of the rich experience. He was a practitioner. One of his popular book, The Function of Executive. So contribution of Bernard in his administration was the alternative principle and methods of behavior and organization as cooperation, formal informal organization, theory of authority, fictional theory of authority, system of coordination, and executive function. So organization and cooperation system, man being the social nature. So man is the social nature, and being a social nature, he associated with the organization, and human being cooperate to each other. Bernard is the longer true that men cooperate spontaneously. Men enter into the deliberate association when there is a purpose. Why he enters? Because there is some purpose, and because of that this limitation is mostly biological and other being social, physical and temporal, technological. These limitation has forced man to enter into the calculated, deliberate and purposeful cooperation. So Bernard observed that the organization is a cooperative social system and system of consciously coordinated activity of two or more person. He emphasized that the organization is not all about position, it is a set of function and interaction. It is a system composed of human beings, a system in which the whole is always greater than sum of the part and each part is related to the every part. Organization has three major ingredients: common purpose, willingness, contribute and communication. For an organization, goals are important and purpose of an organization has two perspectives: cooperative, subjective. The common purpose serves as the element of cooperation. The cooperative perspective, objective and personal and external. Individual have their own goals, internal, personal and subjective. So the individual of the organization should contribute to accomplish the common purpose. Efficient and effective only when the individual of organization contribute to their fullest capacity. The organization need commitment and contribution and satisfaction with the equilibrium. The individual contribute to bartered with the benefit offered by the organization to the individual. The individual expect return to his contribution and its individual gets back more when what contributed to the organization. Then there is a satisfaction and individual gets back the less his contribution. So contradiction of classical theory view of monomotivational, and Bernard observed that satisfaction which individual receive exchange of his contribution both monetary and non-monetary. He explained concept of inducement and incentives to Bernard two broad category: incentives general and specific. So what are the general incentives? This is associated attractiveness based upon the compatibility, peer group environment, working condition, opportunities, communication, mutual support, personal attitude and all that. And what is specific inducement? That was the physical conditions, money, personal non-material opportunities, desirable physical conditions to the work, prestige, personal power, beneficial such as pride for the workmanship, benevolent service for the family and other, and personal fulfillment of the work. The inducement can't be applied mechanically and the proposal depend upon the partnership situation, time and individual. The arrangement of inducement is dynamic process required experiments and in imagination. Finally, Bernard believed that the sound system of communication to convey the purpose of organizations also make the exercise of authority meaningful. So, formal and informal organization. The formal organization is similar to what have been discussed earlier. It is an organization which has three major ingredients: common purpose, willingness to contribute, and communication. Verbal, written, and observation. Informal organization, of the other hand, is aggregate of personal contact, interaction, association of grouping, pupil pupil. It is the indefinite, shapeless, and structureless. The interaction is based on the personal relationship rather than the organization purpose. Bernard gives scientific definition of both formal and informal aspect of organization. All this activity which are conscious and have a structure of formal aspect of organization. An informal aspect consists the all activity which are unconscious and do not structure. Bernard measured contribution in regard to the formal and informal organization, observed that formal aspect of organization emerged informal aspect of organization. The informal aspect of organization go on the smooth and communication, and where communication is not effective then formal channel. Informal aspect help protect the personal integrity and fight against the personal fears. The informal aspect organize go on the stabilize the zone of indifference. So Bernard concluded that it is the manager responsibility to create informal organization or to develop informal aspect of organization which will increase the productivity. Theory of authority. Now given by the Bernard theory of authority. So zone of denial and zone of indifference, and zone of denial and zone of indifference. It is given by the increased zone of indifference should be worked out through the contribution satisfaction equilibrium. If zone of indifference will be increased, the worker will be out of from satisfaction and equilibrium. So Bernard concluded that it is the manager's responsibility to create an informal organization, and Bernard observed that authority lie with the character of order and does not lie with the position. Authority lie in the relation between the superior subordinate and does not lie flow of the position and superordinate. So he was believe in order and superior subordinate relationship. He did not agree with the position view of authority by classical theory. He introduced a new concept of authority acceptance view of authority. According to this view, the authority will be followed only if the acceptance of the subordinate. He identified condition of acceptance and authority. Satisfaction of the character and the order to consistent with the order should be indestructible, intelligible. The consistency with the organization of purpose. The order should be compatible with the organization interest. The order should be compatible with the individual interest. The physical mental ability to comply when who is receiving the order should be physically mentally capable. Satisfaction of the certain condition of individual who are receiving the order. Order should will fall within the zone of indifference. The zone of indifference is the type of psychological state individual in which the individual is favorably disposed acceptance of order by being indifferent with the merit of order. Bernard observed that managers should message will giving the order should be not only be taking care of the character of the order but also give the equal attention to zone of indifference. Fiction authority. The fiction of authority is the manipulative aspect of manager. The manager should take advantage of belief, idea, fiction, spirit of organization to accomplish the organization goal. For instance, IT firms, there may be a rumor that internet surfing and social sites are prohibited. This may be not be true, but the manager can take advantage of this rumor or that employee do not waste their time. So the characteristics basic exercise authority of leadership rather than authority of position. This is the similar leadership by functional authority of Mary Parker Follett. So he given the leadership of authority rather than the authority of position. Bernard remarked the pupil tend to the delegate authority upward to the individual who has more skill, better expertise led to the job, and people who are ignorant, less knowledgeable, and less skilled. He philosophically explained that subordinates tend to follow their superior who are better skilled and knowledgeable with respect to the job. The acceptance of order lies with the subordinate and power veto lies with the superordinate. Bernard tried to explain the acceptance theory of authority by giving the negative reference. He wanted to imply the acceptance of order in the hand of subordinate. It is the responsibility of the superordinate to create such an environment where the order is unquestionable, accepted by subordinate. If the subordinate does not accept the order, then it is failure of the superordinate. and condition for disobedience was created. So, theory of coordination. Bernard discussed responsibility and communication under the system of coordination. He was the mention about decision making. Responsibility in collegial means duties assigned to the particular position, but the Bernard discussed the responsibility from point of view of morality. He defined responsibility as a power of particular private code of moral to control the conduct of the individual and presence of strong contrary desired impulses. And responsibility is not determined by a single moral code. It is negotiated through the complex multiple codes: moral, legal, technical, professional, institutional, family, values, and religious value. This code can be timely, complementary, overlapping, but the some cases our code maybe have cross purpose. Paralysis of action. The paralysis of action incomplete by emotional tension and adding to the sense of frustration, blockage and uncertainty, loss of decisiveness, lack of confidence, guilt feeling. This is the conformance to the one could not violate the result of sense of guilt, discomfort, dissatisfaction, loss of trust. An innovative strategy, the substitute action which satisfy immediate desired impulse, interest, and dictate one code conform to the old code. Bernard remarked that the executive action are always conditioned by the concept of morality, and responsibility is not a complete act rather than a process. In other words, responsibility is not predetermined. The individual occupy the position may deal variably and define the action. Communication is simple exchange of information, idea, view, and knowledge. Bernard was very firm. Primarily function of executive is to establish a sound system of communication. The communication convey the organization goal, make the exercise authority meaningful. He believed that organizational structures, system of communication, network, the line of command are the channel of communication, and executive or communication center. The organization efficiency depend on organization communication. He placed the much important communication that went to the observe the communication is authority. The medium through which authority exercises the channel of communication should be definite known. The objective authority require the definite formal channel of communication. The complete line of communication should be usually be used. Complete purpose of serving communication, and the line of communication should not be interrupted during the time of organization, and every communication should be authenticated. Decision making. Decision is a choice of the multiple option. According to the Bernard, decision making is an action of involving deliberation, calculation, thought of establishing mean and relationship. He was a pioneer of administrative theory and dealing with the idea of decision making. However, the foremost administrative thinker regard to decision making is Herbert Simon. Decision making, according to Bernard, are the two types: personal and organizational. In personal decision making, the decision is taken by private individual in his her capacity. The personal decision making is illogical, irrational. On the other hand, the organizational decision taken the official capacity, representative organization at large. Organizational decision making is always based on logical, rational basis, a time of rather than rest. It may be based on the non-logical, speculative, hybrid information. Every decision has two components: moral and opportunist component. Decision may inherently include the goal, which is moral component, and the medium to which the goal will be opportunist. The opportunistic component has two elements necessarily: strategic and the complementary element. The strategic element include all the factors when limited ensure accomplishment of the goal. The complementary element of the other hand include all the elements to establish a sound system of communication, maintenance of organization communication, and secure the essential service from the individual of organization. It is function of executive ensure the individual the working of fullest capacity and manipulating contribution satisfaction equilibrium zone of indifference. The executive responsible for formulating the organization purpose and objectives. So this was all about the Bernard.